Today, we're participating in the 2019 ASRA Bathurst Challenge. This is Triple Crown Racing. Let's get into it. Places though, and this is a bit later in the lap, and there's a massive crash in the bus stop, but I think we're okay. The pack is very bunched up. People are almost hitting the wall there. And we're going to the outside of Married Mouse, and we're breaking down now, but we're being pushed into the fountain, and I can hear the botanists crying out now, and we're just, oh no. Okay, so my very limited Forza 7 League racing experiences haven't been the best by any stretch of the imagination. If you guys have been on this channel long enough, you'll know that I am a Project Cars 2 specialist. However, at the end of 2019, I decided that instead of finishing my sim racing year on the Oz & Z Toyota AC6 series, which I am still yet to produce, I decided that after that series, I'd finish my year off with a endurance race at Bathurst in GT cars on Forza 7. Thankfully, ASRA provided the perfect race for that to happen, the Bathurst Challenge, which would be 43 laps around the Mount Panorama circuit. But since Bathurst is the flavour of the month, I thought I'd show this race to you. So, here is the last race of my sim racing decade, which will not be the last race from the sim racing decade that will be released. Anyway, here is the grid for the race. Qualifying, it was a bit of a mess. We had a few issues with lobby setup and numbers, and some people who were at the qualifying session didn't turn up to the race. But regardless, we have a pretty good grid of drivers to take up this endurance racing challenge. MRT K-Man will lead the field away in his Audi R8, followed by Private Louis, also in an Audi. Gino Maximus lines up behind them, along with TRL J20. Mint Memes is 5th in the BMW, followed by Andrew Daskun, I believe that is, and FDR GT Rain. Me Wadey, along with MRT K-Man and Fantas, is a great friend of mine. He's also in the race, and he will be starting from 8th. I'm sitting 9th in the only Bentley Continental in the field, followed by Fantas in the Mercedes, as I mentioned before, great friend of mine. Then, in 11th, is Osama Stay Trappin', followed by TFS Godzilla, Raygun vs. Zombie, Rahal Fanatic, Bullet Bill, and AH Drayton rounds off the field. So the stage is set for an awesome race. Here we are at the end of the formation lap. While it says we are on lap 1, it is actually the formation lap, as the formation lap and the cooldown lap both count as laps. However, they don't count towards the actual race. But here we are at the start of the race. Let's do it to it. Here on the mountain, the green flag is in the air, and we are racing for 43 laps round Mount Panorama. I take it very, very cautiously into turn 1. Don't want to do anything too drastic at this stage in the race. However, Me Wadey and FDR GT Rain, they're already going at it. It's Aston Martin versus Ferrari going towards turn 2. It looks like Me Wadey will win the drag race coming down the straight, and it looks like he'll just take 7th away from FDR GT Rain. And yes, GT Rain, he concedes, and it looks like it's been a pretty clean start to the race. Now fast forward to lap 2, we are chasing down GT Rain and the Aston Martin. Let's see if we can make a move into turn 2. We look inside, but it looks like GT Rain is just going to be able to cover his line, and we weren't able to brake quite as late as he was. But we're going to follow him up the mountain and see if we can find a gap. Meanwhile, GT Rain, he's on the attack on Me Wadey. He goes to the inside, and, well, it doesn't quite work out, and it's allowed us to find a gap on the inside. We're going to try switch inside coming up the mountain, but FDR GT Rain, he once again covers his line, and there's not enough room to get by on the Aston Martin. But coming down through to the chase, we've got a run on GT Rain. Let's see if we can make it inside. We're going to try on the outside coming into the second last chicane, but GT Rain once again putting up a brilliant defense in the Aston Martin, will be forced to look at the Martini bumper of his car, maybe for another lap, but we're going to try and have a look into the final corner. But once again, he does brilliantly to cover his line. but we're gonna want to clear him quickly, because some of these guys in front of us, they're getting away, and the longer I stay behind GT Rain, the more time I'll lose. We look again inside into the first corner, but there's not enough room to go through, and obviously GT Rain once again very good on the brakes in the Aston Martin. So, once again, chasing the V12 Aston Martin of GT Rain down Mountain Straight, and we'll see if we can make a move into Turn 2. This time we have a much better run, and let's see if we can make the move stick this time on the brakes. Once again, GT Rain covers his line. I must say, he is putting up an absolutely fantastic defense. Now, fast forward later into lap 3, coming through the chase. We're still trying to get to GT Rain, but we lose it under brakes, and we're off onto the grass, and I must say, yeah, this is a terrible rejoin. I'll put my hand up for that. That was an awful rejoin. It makes it difficult. I don't have the view of the mirrors, so that makes it very, very difficult to also defend and also know where cars are in relation to you. And once again, I stuff up my braking coming up through the cutting, and it's allowed Bullet Bill to go through in one of the other Aston Martins. And that was a very brave move from him, and that was quite good. But we're going to try and come back it, and let's see if there's a gap to go through coming up through the top of the mountain towards McPhillamy Park. And it looks like Bullet Bill will hold on to the position for the time being, but he runs very, very wide coming towards the, well, through Skyline and towards the Dipper. But Bullet Bill, he'll hang on. But look at how out of shape he is. He's sliding through the S's. I do not know how he saved that. That was very, very brave from Bullet Bill, and he's done well to hold on to 9th place, I must say. But we'll continue to chase the Aston Martin, and he gets a good, he drives out of Forest Elbow, but we're in hot pursuit. And now we're in the slipstream coming down Conrod Straight, and it looks like we have a good enough run to get by. We pull to the inside. Let's see if we can get it done. It's a drag race towards the chase, and we'll see if we can get through on the inside. It looks like we're just ahead, but will he try and come back at us into the chicane? Yes, he does. He takes what very little space there is, and it looks like he'll just hold on to 9th place. However, we're side by side coming towards Murray's corner, and he'll have the inside line, which is probably the better line for this corner. And, well, it looks like some people are very, very good at defending on this Forza League Racing. I'm not very good at defending on Forza because I usually use my mirrors to defend, which I do not have the advantage of this time around. But anyway, we're going to try and come back at Bullet Bill, but Bullet Bill, he's holding onto the position out of Hell Corner, and we're going to have to chase him down Mountain Straight. We've got another good run at him, and we'll try and stick it up the inside at Quarry's Bend, or Quarry Bend, I should say. And we'll see if we can beat him under brakes. It looks like he will. It'll be very difficult to hold it around the outside of Turn 2. And it looks like we'll grab 9th place. Now, fast forward later in the race. We're coming down through the S's. Bullet Bill is in full attack, but we get a tap from behind, and we end up in the wall, and we're losing positions. You saw Fantas go through as well, and somebody else, and there goes Osama Stay trapping, and we're going to have to do the 1,000,000-point turn to try and get out of the S's and get going again. Now, fast forward to lap 8. As you can see, Fantas in the Fujitsu Mercedes has run into trouble in the same place we did, and now will be on the attack to try and get 12th place. Now, fast forward to the start of lap 9, which I should say registers as lap 10 because of the way the formation and cooldown lap will be working in this race. And Fantas, his run isn't very good out of Hell Corner, which we'll try and exploit to the fullest. And it's going to be another drag race down Mountain Straight and potentially another move into Quarry Bend. And we'll see if we can beat the Mercedes under brakes, and it looks like we'll just be able to drag by Fantas and move ourselves up into 12th place. And now we'll be trying to chase down the 11th place BMW of Osama Stay Trappin'. And actually, he's in sight now, and oh my goodness, our run off the final corner is very, very bad, but we get a boost because somebody hit us from behind because of our slow run out of the corner, which I think was a very interesting moment. And a few laps later, on lap 12, we have actually caught up to the M6 of Osama Stay Trappin', and he gets into one of the walls just as we do, but he seems to have lost a lot of momentum, which we take advantage of and get ourselves up into 10th position. Now, fast forward to the start of lap 13. Osama Stay Trappin', he's not happy with that, and now he's on the full attack. But because I don't have my mirrors and because I'm not really interpreting the proximity arrows right, it looks like we sort of turn across him and we come together, which results in me spinning, and, well, I go around because of that. But later, on lap 14, Osama stayed trapping. He ends up in the wall, and we go up through into 11th place. And now we'll be trying to chase down TFS Godzilla. Now, you'll notice here, at the end of lap 17, people are beginning to make their pit stops, as you will need to make a pit stop. You will not make it on fuel. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and stretch our fuel run as far as possible into the race, and see if we can make up any time or track position on strategy. And here we go at the end of lap 19. TFS Godzilla, he's making his pit stop, and well, he'll be the man we're racing at the moment. So on lap 21, we can't go any further. Let's see if we get out of the pit lane before he does. And we're coming in now, and we'll see where we get out ahead of TFS Godzilla. Let's see how it is. It's half a second just beating TFS out of the pit lane. But fast forward to lap 22, it's almost a carbon copy of the incident with Bullet Bill, and it's with another Aston Martin. However, TFS Godzilla, that was a very sporting move of him, waiting for me to get going again, because he knew he was at fault for that. That was very classy, actually. But fast forward to lap 26, and well, we've gotten all out of shape coming into Forest Elbow, and we've ended up in the wall, and we've spun around, and well, that's a bit of a disaster, isn't it? So this race is going a little bit from bad to worse. But fast forward to lap 28, we have been lapped by Private Louis, I believe that is, and he's battling with Bullet Bill and whoever's in front of him. I can't quite tell, but I could see from this at the moment that this was not going to end well. And coming through the chase, sure enough, there's a cloud of tyre smoke and cars going left, right and centre. Now, the rules with cautions were very, very interesting. I think we were only allowed to have 2 or 3 cautions throughout the race. And so far, there hadn't been one for the entire course of the race. And this is exactly what I needed to get back into contention. And, well, pretty much on lap 31, coming to the start of lap 32, the race has been reset. So, coming into the final couple of corners, we're going to be racing Mint Memes right from the get-go. And it looks like we're back to green flag racing for a sprint to the finish. It's going to be, it's basically a sprint to the finish. 11 laps from now, there will be a winner crowned, and we are back into contention. Let's go racing, and we're chasing down Mint Memes for the time being. And fast forward later in the lap, we're all over the back bumper of Mint Memes, and he's very slow coming out of Reed Park, and we've taken advantage, and that was a risky move that's gotten us up into 7th position. And well, he's still with us, and there's so many cars at the top of the mountain. It is a proper race in the midfield, and we're getting all out of shape. Mint Memes goes back through into 7th place as we hit the wall. And, well, fast forward to lap 33, there's cars scrapping ahead of us. It's me, Wadey, FDR, GT Rain, and Mint Memes. But meanwhile, we've got Bullet Bill somehow finding room on the outside and going up through into 8th position. Wow, this is absolutely incredible stuff at the moment. And, well, fast forward to lap 34, Bullet Bill, he's gotten all out of shape, which we're taking advantage of. And FDR, GT Rain, he's fallen to sort of the middle of this pack, and we're going to try and get through into 7th place. But Bullet Bill has somehow come back, and he's about to make 2 positions in the span of a couple of corners. Now fast forward to the start of lap 35. There are so many cars all racing each other, and it looks like we're about to go, well, several cars wide. 2 rows of 2 cars wide coming up Mountain Straight, and we're going to see if we can make it 3 wide, but there's no way we can make it, and we're going to take the safe option and slot back into 9th position. However, we're still chasing after Mint Memes, but me, Wadey, he runs wide in turn 2, and there's a car on my inside as well that's trying to get around as well, but it looks like Andrew, he'll hold off for the time being. Fast forward to lap 35, me, Wadey, and FDR, GT Rain, they're going at it once again, and we're going to try and get into the action of this. Coming into the final corner, GT Rain on the inside, and we're trying to get in the mix, and somehow they're still side by side, but me, Wadey, he goes up into 7th place. Meanwhile, we're going to try and get by FDR, GT Rain in the first corner. We look for a gap. There is a gap, and we take it up into 8th position. Now chasing after my very good friend, me, Wadey, who's in 7th place in the Ferrari, up through to the cutting. Me Wadey, he's lagging all over the place, which is strange because we're racing with Americans and they seem to be fine. But the two Australians have a terrible connection to each other. So, Me Wadey in the Ferrari, we are doing everything we can to try and get by on lap 37. And, well, we saw a little bit of a gap on the inside, but Me Wadey covers it off. And it looks like we're going to get through. And we're on the grass through near Skyline. And Me Wadey, he's trying to fight back. But we take 7th position just before the dipper. And, well, now, on lap 37, Me Wadey are side by side coming through the chase. But there's sticky cars, and both of us are just passengers at this point. Me Wadey and I go off the track, but I come off worse and end up in the barrier on lap 37, which is massively disappointing because I was on for a very good result, and unfortunately nothing else happens for the rest of the race. So here we are at the end of the 43rd racing lap. We come home in 9th position of the 11th finishers in this race, and here we are lining up just for the cool down lap after what was, well, not a very successful race for us, but it was very, very entertaining. And we're going to have a look at the results table now. It was MRT K-Man who took the victory of the Bathurst Challenge, and I was very happy for him as he's been a very good friend of mine for quite a long time. Private Louis put up a very good fight in one of the other Audis, but was not able to defeat the almost flawless K-Man. He was then followed by Gino Maximus in the first of the rather large BMW effort in this race, and Bullet Bill, who did very well to get himself into 4th place in the Aston Martin. He was then followed by Mint Memes and Andrew Dasserkun, I believe that is. I'll probably get told that that's wrong, but that rounds off the top 6. Me Wadey was able to reclaim 7th place in the Ferrari. He was then followed by TFS Godzilla in the Aston Martin. Then it was me in the only Bentley in the field and probably the second best wheel user of the field, which I think is rather interesting. And TRL J20 finished in 10th, followed by Osama Stay Trappin', who was the last of the finishers. GT Rain dropped out due to internet issues. Fantas, I'm not entirely sure why he dropped out. Rahal Fanatic ran out of fuel, I believe, and Raygun vs Zombie was the last man to be classified. So, as a Project Cars veteran and a Forza Motorsport noob, and as such I was just trying to keep the car on the road, I'd say I did pretty well, and I want to thank ASRA and Central Florida Motorsport for putting on a pretty good event, and I quite enjoyed myself. I'd say that was a pretty decent way to end off the racing decade, and it was great to race with some of my old friends again. I haven't raced with them in quite some time, and it was good catching up with them. I also want to say this will not be the last race from 2019 I will be posting. I'll try and get round to the Oz and Z Toyota 86 Racing Series. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'll leave a link to the ASRA page on Instagram in the description below if you want to get involved. Follow the TCR Instagram account for all the latest and greatest motorsport news. I'm also trying to be more active on Twitter as well, so that's @RacingTriple for the TCR Twitter. Or if you just want to follow me personally, I'm @MackenzieMusing. We need some new blood on the Discord server, so a server invite to that will be in the description below. Comment any of your thoughts in the comments below. I do hope you enjoyed this video, so like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.